I think we should be live. Cool. Hi guys, welcome to today's episode of the Mirror Gaming Walkthrough. I am joined today with Matt and Scott, and we have got some pretty juicy topics to get into. First things first, Red Dead Redemption. What on earth is going on with that? And we might be seeing a glimmer of hope for Project Q. First things first, Red Dead Redemption. Whoops, sorry about the double audio there, guys. And then if we've got time, I really want to get into whether or not Starfield will have a day one patch. So not before we roll the credits. Let's go.
Are you prepared to go public with your KD online or?
No.
Everyone thinks he or she is the best football expert on the planet.
You see it in the back page of the Mirror, deal agreed.
I think the most important thing is just to have fun. What?
310.
No, what button is it?
Well, hello.
We're ready to come for the W, yeah?
Ooh, 12.
Ooh, here we go.
If you can master Second Man Press, you will defend 10 times better.
Today I'm going to be reviewing the PSVR 2 headset.
Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Walkthrough. As I stated, we're here with Matt, our head of arguments today. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been a while since you've been on, so I'm looking forward to the drama, of course. And we've also got Scott, the certified remake hater. You're literally flogging that dead horse for all it's worth, aren't you?
You gotta steer into the skid because there's someone who will probably show up within the next 5 minutes in the comments to make some comment about me being old. So I've just got to get out in front of it.
I mean, you don't really do yourself justice talking
Plus,
about how remakes are bad, just saying.
It's applicable today because...
It is, because we are talking about the re-release of Red Dead Redemption, which is coming out on the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. So, the game is releasing next week for $50, right? And it is only coming out on Nintendo Switch and PS4. It's not coming out on current generation consoles. Well, I don't really get what the deal is with that, but let's read a bit of an excerpt that our very own Scott McCrae wrote. Rockstar has announced that the original Red Dead Redemption, as well as its Undead Nightmare DLC, will be coming to the Nintendo Switch and PS4 later this month. Rumours of a Red Dead Redemption remaster have been swirling since late June, with changes to the Rockstar Games website pointing to a Nintendo Switch version showing up last month. Despite previous rumours suggesting it could be a full remaster, Rockstar has now announced on its website that a re-release of the original Red Dead Redemption is coming to Nintendo Switch and PS4, with the release set for August 17th, which is just next month. So, the game launches next week as a digital release, but those wanting a physical copy are in luck, as Rockstar has also confirmed that physical copies of the game are set to arrive in October. So, guys, $50 for a re-release of a game. I feel like Matt already has something to say.
There's no like zero overhaul, like of the game,
No.
zero. So
none.
I just don't see how you can price it higher than like
It's
$30.
It's the version you can get on the Xbox store right now for like £20.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
it's
there you go.
it's the exact same.
Exactly my point. Like, you can't charge just because they've ported it to a new console. You can't charge that much for something that you've just ported it to that console. You haven't done it. You're not giving anything new or extra. So it's like, I just don't understand who decided on the pricing for that, because it is literally, I mean, don't get me wrong, the nostalgia is probably going to be great, like, you know, being able to play a classic game on your newer console, but like, bar that, like, what are you getting?
So
Go ahead, Scott. No, go on.
basically, someone over at IGN asked the CEO of Take-Two about this at the earnings call, and they said, quote, "That's just what we believe is the commercially accurate price for it. We believe a game from 2010 with a DLC from also 2010, untouched, £50."
I believe the commercially accurate price for watching the Mirror Gaming walkthrough is $50 now, guys. So there we go. We're going to put this behind a paywall from now on because that's what I believe. I don't understand what the justification is for it. I think it's clearly a cash grab. I don't like saying that, but it's clearly a cash grab. I love paying for games. I'm all for paying for games. As Aaron always says here, pay for the games that you enjoy. But for a game which is literally 13 years old now.
Yeah, I mean, I get like if it was being priced relatively cheaply, then suddenly it doesn't become something that looks like a cash grab. It becomes something that they're doing for you. Like, hey, we've ported this. It only costs you like 15 quid or even like 20 quid. And you can play this game. And for people that love that game, they're going to buy it. And they're going to, maybe people that only have a Switch that have always wanted to play it, they love the series and they never got a chance to properly play the first game, so they might want to. But the moment you start overpricing it, it just immediately looks like, hey, we're going to try and get as much as we can out of it. But the other side of that is I still am always of the opinion that by pricing it too highly, they're going to sell less and make less than if they priced it lower. Like if you price it just 20 quid lower, maybe double the amount of people are going to buy it.
I also don't even know, were games $50 13 years ago? I don't think they were. Games were like still 20, 30 quid.
So you're saying that
$29.99.
Yeah, exactly. Back in 2010, you could pick up new releases for 30 quid. And even that, do you remember when they started going above 30 quid where it was like 35? And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Games industry's dying.
And
now they're 40 was like where it was like, okay, we're hitting a wall now. It's going to stop. And it never did. So if this game literally came out in an era where games weren't even costing $50, how on earth are they justifying charging $50 for it now? It's not a remaster, not an overhaul. It's literally a port. It's a port.
So
explain.
I went and looked. Red Dead Redemption, $24.99 on the Xbox Store for the backwards compatible version. Undead Nightmare, $6.75. So just over 30 quid for all of it. But it's the commercially accurate price for it. Like, how? And like Nintendo Switch titles, they'll get overpriced anyway. Like Resident Evil 4 was like, I want to say 30 quid when it launched the Switch. So they do this all the time, but people buy it, I guess, is the problem.
Yeah,
people
that was going to lead me on to the next question. Will people still buy it, and who?
Too many. More than you would think, and far more than you would hope.
Do you really think so? Do you think people are going to be buying a title for $50 for a game that... I feel like the thing is as well is that considering it's just a port, a lot of people that you think would be buying this game have probably already played it in the past 13 years because that's how old it is and that's how long it's been out. If they've already played it, why would they bother? Whereas like Matt was saying, if it was a bit cheaper, if it was like $20, people might just pick it up for the nostalgia, for the sake of having it, because it feels like, oh yeah, it's just 20 quid. What's 20 quid, you know? But $50 is a significant purchase where you have to sit and like think about it, you know? You're not just gonna splash.
Like, do I want it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Do I need
yourself.
it?
Yeah. Do I need
exactly.
it? Yeah. Exactly.
No, but that's what you do. Do I need this game over buying some of the other amazing titles that are coming out this year?
Yeah, especially when you've got like games coming out this year, like much bigger titles that you're gonna need to save your cash for.
Exactly, especially for Nintendo Switch. There's a bunch of Nintendo games dropping this October. People are going to be thinking, okay, I want to hold on to my cash to buy stuff like that instead of splashing $50 onto a No, I was going to say remaster. It's not even a remaster.
No.
Port.
It's not a remake. It's not a remaster. It's just
a
literally
re-release.
Being able to play the game in a couple of other places.
And may I add, a couple of other places that still don't include PC. The game back in 2010 wasn't released on PC. They're re-releasing it now. They're still not bringing it to PC. I play everything on PC. I have consoles that I barely touch. They collect dust. I'm really sorry. But I love keyboard and mouse. I love playing on PC. And they're still not bringing it to PC.
I mean,
if
that
they
is
can
a bit of
port
a
it,
letdown. The fact that they are bringing it to like Switch, which is a big deal, like, you know, whether you like it or not, and PS4, like
they're porting it to an old generation console and not PC.
Yeah, like it just seems like that if they were going to charge this much, or like at least value the re-release at a higher price, then it needs to at least include PC as well. But like even then, it's still. I
mean, I wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't have bought it for $50 anyway, but I would have liked the option. I would have liked to have thought about it
if it was cheaper. Like
yeah.
You know, and it was out on PC.
Yeah.
So,
As the certified remake hater, Scott, would you have preferred that they remade the title, or would you prefer they re-released it as they have done and had it cheaper?
yeah, like I was just about to say, I'm all for bringing something over, because currently the only way to play Red Dead 1 on a modern platform is through the Xbox backwards compatibility, which, you know, it's good that it's there at least, but there's no way to play what is like considered to be one of the best games of all time, which is like embarrassing because it should be there. But also 50 quid for it. Like, sincerely, just like I can't even understand it. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, 50 quid on the PlayStation
I was
Store.
wondering how long it would take.
Oh no, I just had the realization there because I was thinking about the conversation. It was about Metal Gear Solid. The Master Collection, same price. You get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games.
He pulled it up on his other monitor just to fact check himself. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you get 6 games and that's 50 quid. That says 1 game and DLC that should be included anyway for like a 20 quid remaster, far less a.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that nothing else, like, it's not really part of a big bundle or anything like that, just doesn't lend itself to.
What do you mean it's not part of a big bundle? You get 1 DLC with it, Matt. That's a big bundle if I've ever seen one.
Isn't even all the DLC for the game.
You get 1 DLC with it. What are you talking about? That's a massive bundle. What?
And as far as I can tell,
ever.
don't quote me on this, but as far as I can tell, doesn't include the multiplayer.
No, that's what I was going to just say. Like, it's the multiplayer is going to be affected as well. Like, it's not. You don't even get the whole game. Like, essentially, like, you're not even getting the full thing. It feels like it was a decision that was made. Like, what can we do? What's a quick win? Oh, I know. Why don't we just put this?
Is this a quick win?
Port this out? Well, I think it will be financially.
It could have been a quick win.
It will cost them very little to do, and it'll, like Scott said, like, more people than you think will probably buy it. Like, it's a
guys, stop falling for it. It's your guys' fault. People that are buying it, it's your guys' fault because they know you're going to buy it, and then they keep putting it out for too much money. Stop it.
It's going to sell 1 million very quickly.
Oh God!
I don't think Take-Two announce like sales figures, but I can guarantee it's going to sell over 1 million very quickly.
Oh my God!
But
like, we've got Rocking Games Kid in chat that says, "Has anyone played Twisted Metal for PS3? Not bad." Hi Aaron, welcome.
That should be
Stop
on.
it. Is what I'm going to say.
Imagine being on holiday and still coming in to talk about Twisted Metal for the PS3. What a dedicated Twisted Metal.
I wanted to ask, will we ever get a remaster for current gen consoles and PC? This is one thing I was a bit confused about. If they're porting it to PS4, why couldn't they port it to PS5?
Yeah, that confused me as well.
It's probably just I don't quote me on this because I don't know anything about it, but I imagine it's probably just cheaper.
Here's Scott's theory. Do you
think?
think?
Yeah, because you make 1 SKU of it. The PS4 version, you've been playing the PS5 anyway, so that's like an extra one you don't have to develop, because I can't imagine it's as simple as drag and drop. Same thing into like PS4 and PS5. You'll need to create 1 set of logos, you know.
But if they were going for the cash grab, why would they not try and get it onto as many platforms as possible?
They've clearly got data on like the demographic of who would probably that is more likely to own
Yeah.
what console, and you've got like you've probably got more people with like if you think PS4, it's an older console. Yeah, it's got some brilliant games and some great graphics, but those guys or people would generally probably not be experiencing next gen graphics and next gen games. So it might just be that it's more suited to that demographic of people that own the PS4.
Only people who hate new games are going to play this re-release. That's what they were thinking.
Maybe like or people, you know, or
I tell you, probably what it is.
Kids
You
that have
look
grown
at
up now that never could like buy it when it first came out. I don't know.
But what's
I don't know.
stopping?
I'm just trying to think. I'm just
Because it's
trying,
ridiculous. You
doing my
can't.
best.
You can't pin it
I
down
can't
because it's
justify it, really.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
I can't really
ridiculous.
justify it, but like
I feel like it's pretty easy to pin it down, and it's the same thing they've done with GTA 5, the same thing they did with Red Dead 2. If you release these games on console, someone's going to buy a PS4 version and be like, someone who wanted it on PC is going to buy the PS4 version, and then when it does come at PC, they buy it again. That's what they did with GTA. It's what they did with Red Dead 1. It's going to come at PC, this port, probably.
It's like the
And people
Nintendo Switch
will
and the
buy it
Nintendo
again.
Switch OLED all over again, isn't it?
I'm shocked because people do that for the Switch as well. Like they buy the
Yes.
game and then it's on Switch and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to buy it again." So
Yeah,
they
but
should've just
that's
done, like, a
why-
three-tiered.
That's why I don't get why it's so expensive, because like I was saying, if it's cheaper, people who already own the game would be like, they wouldn't think about it so hard. They just think, oh, I like this game, I'll buy it on this platform and this platform and this platform over and over and over again. And it's not that big of a deal because it's just 20 quid. Chucking 50 quid at a game, which is the same game that I already own on another platform, nah, not
Yeah,
buying it. Not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, like I would completely agree. Like I would potentially, if it was cheaper, if it was £15, I'd potentially buy it on a couple of different platforms, like you know, couple of like PC and I don't know,
I'm not
PS4,
even
but-
into Red Dead Redemption, but hearing that it was going to be re-released, like Scott says, a lot of people do consider it one of the best games ever. I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'll give it a go. I'll get it on Nintendo Switch. It's easy. Loads of people have Nintendo Switches. $50? No way. No
that immediately
way.
I'm out. But like maybe we're in a minority. Like maybe we're just people
I
that-
really don't think we
but I
are.
I don't know.
No,
I'm-
people
I'm very
have-
willing to spend money on games, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to fork out for games that I want, but like,
Yeah.
but if it's but they're probably not trying to target like folk that might be interested. They're targeting hardcore fans.
yeah.
Like I guess, and people that miss the opportunity. Like I say, like maybe they were kids and they never got a chance to play it. Like back then, they're grown up now and they've got their own money and they can afford it, and they've still got their they've still got a PS4 or a Switch, and they're like, great, I'm gonna go and relive that part of my childhood that I sort of feel like I missed out on. Maybe they're banking on that. I don't know, but like to me personally, it seems like a complete. If I was going to describe a waste of money, it would be this.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you know,
GTA 5 when it came to PS5 is £34, £35, $40. And
Yeah.
that's the same PS3 game a third time.
Yeah, but that's not $50.
Yeah, but it was on PS4. You know, like when they did the PS4 version, it was full price, and now 10 years later, they've released it again for 40 quid. Like they can get away with it. You know, 40 quid is still too much for GTA 5 at this point. You know, but
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah.
when it comes to Rockstar, people will just buy stuff. People like.
But
because
GTA
it's-
is like a. They're still updating that game now. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a 10-year-old game that they've just left on the back burner and not
What a
touched.
shame, eh? I wish they had, because that online is terrible.
Yeah, but the thing is, the point is that right now you can spend X amount of money to buy GTA 5 and you know that it's still being updated. Even with the rumours of GTA 6 coming soon, even though people think, oh yeah, it'll be coming in the next 2 years or whatever, you know that until then, and maybe even after that, GTA 5 is still going to be updated. Whereas you're spending $50 for this game, like Matt said, and you're not even essentially getting the full game. It doesn't come with multiplayer. It doesn't even come with all of the DLCs. This game didn't cost that much when it released originally back in 2013 or 2010. Why are they charging that much for it now?
Because
whereas with GTA 5, it's GTA 5 is the current generation of GTA. So I feel a bit more comfortable forking 35 quid out for that, which is still being updated, still has a really big player base online, and you get to play GTA Online with your mates.
That's a negative in GTA 5's favor. GTA Online.
What, GTA Online?
Terrible.
It is bad.
You know what game has good online? Red Dead Redemption 1.
But this doesn't. You don't get the online.
Yeah, but you don't get the online.
Oh well.
You don't get the online.
because
don't get the online.
It's
not a positive.
Because they can't put like 50 microtransactions in it, so like all the 10-year-olds who play the game can beg their mum for like shark cards every day. They're not going to bother with the multiplayer.
Do you think that's why they've done it?
Yeah, the multiplayer is still live on Xbox.
But they're making so much money from selling the re-release of the game. I think the bare minimum they could have done is put multiplayer into it.
Yeah.
No, the bare minimum they could have done is what they're doing just now, and it's what
it
is
a bare minimum.
I think
re-release.
if that what was the GTA thing, the remakes that were like horrid. Like the absolutely stinking remasters of GTA.
The GTA Definitive Trilogy.
Yeah. I think if that hadn't gone so poorly, we'd maybe be talking about something else right now. Like they probably might have put some semblance of effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I assume because that was...
crash and burn failure.
Like, I think they just thought, right, okay, people clearly want a way to play those games as intended. Let's put Red Dead on there as normal, which in itself is not a terrible idea. It's the 50 quid that's the terrible idea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's not a terrible idea to do it. It's the fact that it just seems very lackluster. Like the approach, the fact that you don't get, like Jasmine said, like you don't get all the DLC, the multiplayer is not there, or you know, at least we think so. And you're not getting any kind of like remaster or additional features that have been added at all. So it just does feel very much like someone went into the office one day and said, we need to make a quick buck. What can we do? And someone said, why don't we just put Red Dead on the Switch, man? And I imagine that's how the conversation went. And they went, Gary, I love it. And, and then they just ran with it. Or like slowly stumbled towards it. And
there's a new wrinkle to this that I've just found out. 30 frames a second on PS5 with 13-year-old assets.
Yeah, but 30 frames per second is kind of what you'd expect out of a game that's being ported to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking on PS5 though. Like, I'm pretty sure if you play...
What?
Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, the Xbox has that... What is it, like, the upscale, like, the automatic upscaling stuff?
Oh, but games on Xbox, are like, we know it's going to be 30 frames per second. We know, it's fine. Like, even old remasters from that long ago, like, we know.
What I mean is, I'm pretty sure the backwards compatible version of this on Xbox is going to be better than the version that's on, like, PS4 and Switch. In terms of fidelity and resolution, because Xbox does all that weird tech and the backwards compatibility stuff.
But I think people that are buying this game aren't really looking for like high resolution and high frames per second, right? They're looking, it's just nostalgia based. It's completely nostalgia based. So realistically, if the game runs as worse as possible, it's going to contribute to the nostalgia of it, because old games are terrible.
I mean,
graphically.
There's also Red Dead Redemption 2, presumably a lot of people you know, all the 10-year-olds of the world, their target audience of children, probably played that first. And obviously, when Red Dead 2 ends, you're like seconds into Red Dead 1. Like, that's, you know, it's like directly after that. So clearly they're banking on a lot of people who have played the sequel, love it, and want to know what happens next, but because it's not on anything, they haven't had the chance to.
Yeah.
So now those people who have been desperate, like PS5 owners or PS4 owners who have been desperate to play, like, see what happens next and don't have access to a PS3, you know, it's for them. So why not rip them off, I guess? Because it's Rockstar.
But that's the sticking point. That's the part that just feels not nice.
Gross.
Is
Yeah.
like what, like, yeah, like you say, in those words, why not rip them off? Like, and that's what it feels like to me.
That's what the whole GTA Online ecosystem is, and that's done wonders for them. That's probably the reason why GTA 6 is still like a couple of years away and didn't come out like, I don't know, like 2020 or something, because like they make so much money off of microtransactions and all that. Why bother? And I think it's kind of telling that, you know, the two brothers who are a part of Rockstar, the one who does the writing is left, the one who does the business is still there. Which kind of, not to go into GTA 6 talk, maybe has me a bit worried about how GTA 6 is going to turn out, but hey, got to
Being
love
worried
modern
about
Rockstar.
how things will turn out. I hope this is a better segue than the ones that Nathan uses on the podcast. Being worried about how things are going to turn out. Let's talk about Project Q. Was that good, guys?
I don't think there's a worry though.
I think it was acceptable.
Is there anything to worry about? Because it's terrible and it's going to be terrible. If anything.
Oh yes, that's where all the worry comes from. However, recently PlayStation has finally released their cloud streaming service into beta to some random PSN users, and it's giving Project Q a glimmer of hope. So just to go into a bit of an excerpt that I wrote about this recently, Sony is starting to roll out a brand new PS5 cloud streaming service, which is currently available to a few random PSN users. PS5 cloud streaming allows you to play games on your console without having to actually download and install the titles first, and will be available as part of PlayStation Plus premium subscription service once it gets a full release. The service was originally rumored to be launching at the start of this year and then officially confirmed via PlayStation blog back in June. Sony stated that the PS5 cloud streaming service would be available for supported PS5 titles, which includes those from the PlayStation Plus game catalog and game trials, as well as digital PS5 games that players own. It gives you the option to choose between 720p, 1080, 1440p, and even 4K resolution. According to current participating users, this is only the beta though. They might roll that back and realize that it's insane. Who knows? So this gives us a bit of hope for Project Q, because it means that maybe you won't have to leave your PS5 on downstairs when you're sat upstairs in your bedroom playing it. But
you still got to play on home Wi-Fi though, haven't you? Like,
that's it. That's the end of the
like,
conversation, right?
still,
Like Project Q is still bad,
and it's so dependent on if this new service works very well. Because we've had this type of service before from other people, and it doesn't work very well. Like there's
Google Stadia.
Continuous problems, laggy, blocky, horrible. Like So yeah, it might be able to like facilitate 4K or whatever, but like, is it going to look 4K? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just to me,
the best comparison point I think is Xbox cloud streaming, which you get through Xbox Game Pass. They don't even have the option for 4K on Xbox cloud streaming. You can just get up to 1080, I think it is.
I mean, that's all you.
That's
need
even still in beta.
Like, that's all you need at the moment. Like, but it feels like this. All of this just feels like technology that is not all the way there. That's just been pushed out as quickly as possible, because I do feel like it is. It's almost at a point where it's like, oh, I'll choose this over downloading a game and playing it, but it's not that, like, in any way, shape or form, like at that point right now. So I can't imagine. Maybe it'll be better on a smaller device, but like I can't imagine it's going to be anything other than just like a bit of a laggy, blocky, because it's going to be so dependent on your internet connection. So it's not going to work for everyone straight off the bat. It's not going to work the same for everybody. So
I think the plus side of cloud streaming on a PS5 is obviously that a lot of people have their PS5s plugged in with Ethernet. Not everyone, but there's the option there to have an Ethernet cable plugged in.
Yeah, but it depends on then what internet package you've got.
Yeah,
some people
definitely.
Can't afford the more high end sort of like.
But then you don't get that with Project Q. You obviously don't have the option to plug in an Ethernet cable. From what we've seen of the device, it looks like there's just a USB-C port to charge it, and that's it. So even if you have like really great internet and you've got the top end in like gaming package that all of these providers do now, you get like gigabyte internet, your Wi-Fi could be absolutely tragic and just not work on this device, and then you've just got like a brick that sits on your desk that you never use. It just doesn't work. It's so dependent on too many factors that are uncontrollable by the company. So to me it doesn't add much hope. It just adds but I think
maybe it might be a little bit more useful than we first thought.
Yeah,
that's as far as it goes.
I think until now, Project Q has literally seemed like a dumpster device that no one would ever touch, because it was like, okay, you need to cloud stream from your PS5, and in order to do that, you need to have the game installed and running on your PS5 and leave your PS5 on to be playing it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it easier. Like that makes it.
So not having to do that, I think, contributes a little bit. You have to say, like.
Yeah. Of course.
It puts it on par with the amazing Logitech G Cloud, which I totally didn't give a 1 out of 5 in my review of it this weekend. But Scott, what do you think? Do you think this is going to be saving Project Q?
I've got a Project Q right here. I don't know. I'm trying to bite my tongue a little bit because I don't want to give in to the stereotype that I'm an old grouchy man who hates new stuff. Cloud streaming,
but you are
stupid.
Why?
I just don't like it. I don't.
Do you not cloud stream any games on your PC?
Worst I do is like remote play, but even then, that is like a last resort, and it's for stuff like Persona 5, where I'm literally going through menus. But like, I don't know if this is just because I play fighting games and rhythm games. But cloud streaming is never going to be a viable option, probably ever. Maybe
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
I don't
think that's true. I think you are okay. Adam Mel says it in the chat. Scott, you are literally an old gamer who hates new things. He then has like most of us. Don't include most of us in that. I'm not like that. Okay.
I mean, I'm like halfway between Scott and somebody that's really optimistic about it. I think one day it will be a viable option, one day. But it's kind of like I view it in the same way as VR. I know you really like VR, Jasmine, but like
I do.
For me, it's not all the way there yet. So, it's not going to be for the next 10 to 20 years. Like, so I think because what you need for this sort of stuff to work is like complete overhauls of like networks and things from like an internet connection standpoint. There's still like parts of the country that don't have fiber even. So it's
fiber has become a lot more rolled out now. Like a lot of the country do have fiber now.
I think it's like 95% or something like that. But where I last lived, I didn't have it, and like so it's
because you guys are from the middle of nowhere.
No, it's because someone
doesn't mean
on
we're
my
less
street
important.
said no. They were going to put fiber cables in, and one person on the street said no, and that was enough. And it's been like 10 years since, and I moved into here. Regardless, Matt makes a good point. It's like VR, and the fact that it should never, ever, ever, ever be the standard.
I don't think it should ever be the standard. That's correct. I don't think cloud gaming should be the standard over native gaming. But I I don't think it's never going to be a viable option. I think cloud gaming will be a viable option, and it makes gaming much more accessible to people, especially cloud streaming on like mobile devices, right? Because there are loads of games that you can only get on PC or console. Then you can cloud stream through Xbox Cloud Gaming or NVIDIA Broadcast that you can then play on your phone. And NVIDIA Broadcast is free. It's a free cloud streaming service. You only get to play up to an hour or something per day, but that's still an hour per day that some people get to play that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to, and you get a massive catalogue of games and stuff. Like, I think that is definitely not viable.
It's definitely like a direction to be continuously improving on. But I just don't see it. I just don't see this in this version as we are now with what we have, the technology we have at the moment, as being like something that is going to redefine what we all think about Project Q. And I think it's the only reason. I think more people will have a PlayStation Plus subscription, the premium subscription, that don't use it than have it and do use it. Like, I just think that's the way it is. So it kind of still remains pointless to me.
I think we're in the same kind of situation as last time, where like my viable comment isn't, cloud streaming doesn't work. My viable comment is cloud streaming is never going to work for fighting games. It's never going to work for rhythm games. It's never.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said.
I specifically name dropped fighting games and rhythm games and saying it won't be a viable.
There are a specific category of games that cloud streaming isn't ever going to work for, such as fighting games, rhythm games, online multiplayer games. Of course, because the momentum of your inputs is really important. And the speed of your inputs is really important. You're not going to go and play like Warzone through cloud streaming, because those split-second delays and lags can cause issues for you in the game. Sure, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to go and play a single-player story game.
Viable as a main option
for those games, particularly, not overall.
I think it probably is.
Anything that requires any semblance of like quick inputs, even Mario.
But that's not every single game.
I think it could be very useful in like the cozy game sort of like.
Exactly. I'm not going to sit there playing something like Stardew Valley and be like, oh my god, if I put that input in 0.5 seconds faster, maybe this would have happened. There's such a wide catalogue of games. There's such a wide catalogue of games where stuff like that doesn't matter. And I think that in that sort of sense, cloud gaming is a really good option. But yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. Yeah, there are games where cloud streaming isn't viable.
Well, basically, if we go into the future that Phil Spencer imagines, where there's no Xbox, everyone's just got a Game Pass subscription and they can play Halo on their TV.
Okay.
Where does that leave platformers? Where does that leave anything? Like, it's not a cozy game or menus.
I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think that everyone is going to be cloud streaming.
But there's a push for
time.
it, is what I mean. There's a push for it from like big companies. Xbox is pushing for it. Ubisoft's pushing for it.
But
now PlayStation are pushing for it.
I think that's because, like the mobile gaming space is like so big, and I think it's moving its way into like TV, like that sort of Netflix, Amazon Prime sort of space, and then these services to be able to cloud game, just say, I mean, if PlayStation dropped an app that you cloud gaming app that you could play games through your TV, then that's going to be like something that a lot of people would be like, hey, I don't have a PlayStation, but at least I can still play this through this way without needing anything extra. So like I can see where the sort of application could be useful. I just don't think it's actually going to be smooth enough to work the way that people would want it to work for a little while yet. So
before we move on to what Scott's going to say, I just want to read out some of these comments because I am enjoying them. Nathan says, Scott, stop being moody. And I think you should stop being moody, Scott.
No.
He also says average UK speeds for internet are 89 megabits per second in the UK. And I think that that's going to be very skewed because a lot of people have like gigabyte internet now, right? And then some people are still on like 2 Mbps.
I downloaded Baldur's Gate 3 yesterday. The entire house was like suffering for it.
Yeah. I think just because that's the average speed, I don't think it's
But
there.
even then, I don't think I think
I still don't think that's fast enough to
isn't
effectively
fast
cloud
enough.
game.
Like, if you think in a family of 4 or 5, like in a household, 2 people like trying to game online. Somebody's watching Netflix. Like that's nowhere near fast enough. Like you would need at least. If you're in if you were by yourself, just you were the only person ever using it, you would still need at least probably 150 to 200.
I've got 170. I live on my own. I've got 170, and I think I just about get by on it. Like sometimes there's like,
and I still have issues sometimes.
Yeah. So I think you're all right on that. I still think that's not fast enough. Nathan says FPS games won't ever work. I don't think they won't ever work, but I think the only way that cloud streaming could work with FPS games is if you had a wired connection, and that kind of defeats the purpose of cloud gaming and gaming on the go. And Nathan also says, Matt is a legend.
Well, that's just obvious, isn't it?
You can do that with Game Pass on Samsung TVs now, Matt.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not just talking about in this one specific space with this one specific brand of specific TV that you can specifically do. Like, I'm talking about as a general thing across the board. Like, you know, you've got, because you have high-end, low-end TVs, and you've got like different operating systems and Android TV and Google TV and all sorts of different stuff. So I'm talking about when it's working across the board, like that's when it
for everyone on every
when it becomes like a convenience thing for people, and when you can tap into the convenience and make it more convenient for people to be able to game, then
take a shot every time Matt says convenience, guys.
They're going, or specifically like what, you know. But that's, you know, that's what I mean. I mean across the board, not just in one particular area. Like I know all of this stuff is being worked on, and like I say, I can see where the application is going, but it's not there yet, and it's not going to be all the way there for a long while, I think.
Adam L also says, to be fair, Scott did specify it wouldn't work for games he likes, such as fighting games. So I apologise, Scott. I apologise for attacking you. I take it back. Carry on with your point.
You can't do a one-frame link on cloud connections. It's not happening. The point Matt brought up, the mobile gaming and stuff. Mobile gamers are not interested in a 30-hour RPG. Mobile gamers are not interested in
but
playing.
they would be interested.
How do you know?
Yeah, well, that's true as
well. Mobile gamers are
interested
in ads that have like people pulling pins out and then stuff falling
I
on
do
them.
love
and then
those
when
ads.
you download
I do
the
love
game,
those
it's
ads.
like an idle, like you
I
press the
love those
button
ads.
and you pay money to make the thing grow faster.
I think you're thinking of a specific type of mobile gaming. You think of like mobile apps and stuff. And I think when we talk about mobile gaming, I'm talking about people who want to be fully fledged gamers but don't particularly have the resources to do that. Like consoles are expensive, games are expensive, PCs are expensive.
I basically think of mobile games. Like there's loads of mobile games that you got loads of stuff like in Apple Arcade, for example. You can play like NBA 2K. You can play you got it probably wouldn't work in this way, but like you've even got like Call of Duty Mobile. You've got so many games like that, but on top of that you've got all of the other sort of, you know, Candy Crush type games. Like imagine if people could play all of these games. You've got like Zelda knockoffs and all sorts. Like imagine people can play these games on their TV instead of on their phone. And that's what I'm talking about. That's where the application's going. So mobile, what I'm saying is I think people sleep on mobile gaming a little bit but it is actually
people like
it's
Scott.
the fastest growing like area of gaming at the moment, and it's huge, and it's going to move itself into TV, and cloud gaming services are going to be the partner for it to work. That's my point.
My point is the mobile gaming audience is grossly like blown up because, like, yes, there are like 4 billion mobile gamers technically, but like the actual market for like a proper release is probably like significantly smaller. Like for example, Nintendo. If you hear Nintendo, you think Mario, Animal Crossing, like, you know, Zelda.
Mhm.
You know what game did the best for them on mobile? Fire Emblem, because you could roll for random chances to unlock JPEGs. You know, the mobile gaming market is like skewed in such a way that people being like, we need to chase this. You know.
Nathan says COD Mobile makes more money for Activision than the full Call of Duty does on console/PC.
It's bigger than you think, Scott.
It's really
Like-
big,
like, honestly,
and there's a lot of
I
microtransactions in it.
I went out to Sweden to Candy Crush to King Media's offices, and they were talking about gaming then, and I was like you before I went there. Like thinking the advancements that they are making are so much more impressive than you think. Like they're talking about, like, you know, going to King Media was like, we went into a studio where they were composing orchestral scores for Candy Crush. Like it's so much bigger than you think it is, and it's crazy like how much they want to push it forwards, and that's the sort of area it's going to go into. Before I went, I didn't realize how big it was. Like when I came away, I was like, had a completely shifted view of mobile gaming and how big it was.
Why are you making that face, Scott?
If they want to push it forward, why not make an actual game? Why not make a game that isn't based around people's mums sharing their Facebook data or like paying
But what's
money
wrong with that?
to
How
get
is that
more
different?
lives?
How is that different from you sharing your data with Capcom to play Street Fighter 6? How is it any different?
That's not the main point of the thing. I was saying,
No,
like,
the
they're
point
making a
of
game.
your argument is that that Candy Crush isn't a real game.
That is
No, my
but
point-
that is Candy Crush when it first came out, and it's moved on like since then. So like,
So you
yes,
tell me if I went on
Facebook
Candy
was a
Crush now,
massive- I'm not
it's
telling.
not going
I'm
to
not
be
telling
filled
you.
with ads and like
Look,
money-making
I am just
opportunities.
telling you what
Yeah,
I
but
know.
how is that different from other games? Candy Crush is a free-to-play game. Like any other free-to-play game on PC, you get microtransactions and adverts. You open up the League of Legends client. It's a free-to-play game. You open up the League of Legends client. There are things
You
all
get
along the bottom of
called
the screen.
horrible words for 20
You do,
minutes straight.
you do, but you get little pop-ups on the bottom of the client which are like, hey, we've released this new collection, we've released this skin pack, go to the shop to buy this. You get the same thing on Warzone, you get the same thing on Overwatch 2, you get the same thing on the majority of free-to-play games. It's not any different than it is on mobile.
I think it's true. I think that's true.
I think
Candy Crush is Candy Crush not still being like updated like every single day as well, like all the new levels and
it's still
everything?
massive.
Like,
I
how
think
is it
more-
different?
I think more people play Candy Crush, like they have more concurrent players than like
any other game.
anything.
PUBG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Candy Crush is
think
like one of the
with-
biggest games on the planet, and you get
And
people
they're
like
talking about
Scott
moving-
saying it's not a real game.
I mean, take that one game. There was like hints that they're, you know, thinking about moving into other types of media, and then that brings you more into TV and characters and character building and working on backstories. It's just like, I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just telling you, it is so much bigger than you first think it is.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
all.
not denying that it's big. I'm at no point have I denied that it's big. My point isn't Candy Crush is not a real game. My point is not that it's
What's
not
your
hard
point
to
then?
make mobile games. My point is people the biggest audience, the big audience of mobile games that is like, you know, that people want to capitalize on, like people like Nintendo wanted to capitalize on. They're not interested in like a full paid for experience. They're not interested in like a 30
How do you
hour.
know?
But I don't
Because
think that's true. Because
look
How
at-
do you
mobile
know that?
gaming's moved on so much that is kind of the experience you get when you play mobile games. Like like you've got like COD Mobile, for example. It's huge, and that is people that want that experience, but maybe don't have the resources, or they do have their phone, but you know, they might want a handheld, but they can't afford one, but they've got a phone, so they get an add-on. Or
I'm trying to
Nathan
find the
says,
exact point, but
top mobile games are Candy Crush, COD Mobile, Minecraft, Pokemon Go, Genshin Impact, PUBG Mobile. Those are all games in their own right. There are 273 million users playing Candy Crush once a month, and Fortnite has an average of 239 million users. Candy Crush is literally bigger than Fortnite.
I feel like we've gone from like me making one point to something else. I've never denied that Candy Crush is big. I've never denied that Candy Crush is popular. I didn't even say Candy Crush is
I know what
not
you're saying.
like
You're saying the audiences are different and they don't want that experience. Like
no, but like even the it's to go back.
He's restarting.
To go back to what
Blank
I'm saying,
slate. Blank slate. Scott, go on. Start again.
I can't find the exact like story on it, but Super Mario Run released as a game, as a like full complete package that cost like I think like $5 or something like that, and it like completely underperformed. Whereas Pokemon Go, which is like you can make money easily off of it by selling like whatever it is they sell on it, like Pokestop coins or whatever it was.
Yeah, they have a lot of microtransactions on there. Yeah,
or Fire Emblem Heroes, I want to say it's called, the mobile Fire Emblem that is killing it. It's probably Nintendo's highest grossing game ever, probably, because it makes so much money because people want their like short JPEG collection stuff. What I'm saying is the market for a full-blown game on mobile, like something you would buy otherwise, like something.
But
you
that's
would go
why
to the
cloud streaming services aren't packaging full games. They are subscription-based services where you pay monthly and get access to X amount of titles, like Xbox Game Pass.
No one's expecting mobile game to come out and it be like the next Final Fantasy installment. They are catering towards a different. I think the point really is like I think that cloud gaming services marry up very well with mobile gaming, and I think that's going to make its way onto TVs in homes, which is going to make casual gamers like fancy sort of sitting down in front of the TV and gaming for a bit through a cloud gaming service rather than on their mobile phone or having like a PS5 or a PC to game on. So it's going to attract like a whole new kind of demographic or a whole new segment of an audience that may be sort of teetering on the edge of wanting to be able to play games. I'm not talking about like big story games. It's just more kind of like platform games and like cozy games and things like that. I think they're going to get closer together, and I think the purpose of PlayStation doing like starting this service, and also Xbox was starting their cloud gaming services, is to get them as good as possible on these bigger games so that they can easily then apply that technology into mobile gaming and getting mobile gaming from the from mobile phones onto TVs to make the experience better for people that might be like avid mobile gamers. And there are a lot of avid mobile phone gamers, like it just are. But that's what I was trying to get at, rather than going
why are you making that face?
Can we bring that list back up again?
Which list?
Whatever list Nathan
These
put
ones.
in.
Candy Crush, COD Mobile, Minecraft, Pokemon Go, Genshin Impact, PUBG Mobile.
Would you sit down and play any of those for longer than, let's say, 10 minutes at a time?
I think I've put a hefty few hours into Minecraft and Pokemon
On mobile?
Go. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I've played a lot of COD Mobile.
I played a lot of Pokemon Go as well. When Pokemon Go first came out, I skipped school for a week.
But how long is a match in COD Mobile? Like 5 minutes?
Depends what you're playing.
Could
like,
you
5 to
get
10
on the
minutes.
bus for 10 minutes, play a
Yeah,
game
but
of COD
that's the
Mobile.
point of mobile gaming. You're trying to fit a
No, what I'm
hardcore
saying
gamer
is
into
that-
a mobile gamer's mindset rather than
What
a
are you
mobile
saying,
gamer
Scott?
into
What
That's
are
what
you
I'm
trying
saying. No, I'm saying it's not. The
What
space
are you trying
isn't
to say?
there for a like 30-hour game that you need to pay attention to. It's like
Yeah,
a
and
supplement.
How
I
not?
don't think
How
it's a
not?
replacement.
But you can sit and play a 30-hour game in 10-minute bursts over like.
But I'm not. And
However
I'm not
long
talking
in
about
your life.
replacements either. I'm not talking about a replacement. I'm talking about. People that don't already do it, but they do mobile game, moving closer towards sitting in front of your TV and gaming. Moving closer to like mobile gaming mentality, moving closer towards console gamers that sit in front of their TV and play for hours. Yeah, they might sit and play for half an hour, or like they might sit and play for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, or they might open up something and only play for like a small while. But eventually that's the entry point. It's creating a new entry point for new gamers that aren't already hardcore gamers or even just enthusiasts.
The majority of people that have entered the gaming space have done so through some type of like portable gaming console. And it's like whether that be on your phone, whether that be the Nintendo DS or the PSP or the Game Boy Advance. Most people started out with some type of portable console that you got when you were a kid because, you know, when we were younger, we didn't have like phones and stuff. Exactly, like a Game Boy. Because you didn't have like phones and stuff or iPads for your parents to chuck in front of you like how there are iPad kids now. So I think that most people started off with some type of device similar to a mobile phone. Just because now there are consoles that people are picking up, just because now most people are playing on PC and stuff, it doesn't then suddenly rid the fact that a lot of people will transition from playing on mobile phones to eventually playing on, like Matt's saying, on a big TV. It doesn't mean that it's not there. Just because people play mobile games for convenience sake, it doesn't mean that they might not eventually pick it up as like a more serious hobby. And also use cloud streaming softwares.
They don't need to. They don't like. I think that's the thing. Is like somebody who's enjoying games in any capacity is somebody that is potentially convertible into like a
convertible.
new.
I like that.
Into like a new as a new demographic or as a new like customer. So when you've got such a huge audience of like people that want to buy high-end games and game for hours and sit down in the evening and play for 3 hours before they go to bed or all night or whatever, like those people aren't I don't think are the audience for cloud gaming. It's the mobile gamers that are the audience.
Scott's done with this. I think
I'm
Scott's
going to be
done with
honest.
this conversation.
I think I've forgotten. I think we may have all forgotten what we were even talking about
Project
in the first place
Q
here.
and cloud gaming. I remember.
I'm sitting here.
Nathan
like,
says.
How did we even get here?
Nathan says this is like watching someone who doesn't like marzipan telling everyone why marzipan is bad, even though everyone loves it.
Again, like I'm never expressing an opinion. Again, because suddenly it goes from like I don't like this thing because of a reason to I hate all remakes and I think remakes are the worst thing ever. I like mobile games. I like playing what's the official name of it? Konami's Pixel Puzzle Collection, where I've restarted it 3 times through new phones because it's that long and I just like playing it. I'm not saying that I hate mobile games or I hate any of this. I don't think cloud streaming's the end of the world. I think there is a place for it, but I don't think any of it actually I've gone on to 2 different points there, so I'm just gonna roll that back. My point was the mobile gaming market is not as lucrative as some console manufacturers have tried to chase over the last 2 years. There have been elements of mobile gaming that have been successfully chased and adapted to console games like free to play and all that, but it's not like a market that you can just go, here is Super Mario on your phone, give me money. It's not that easy. Meanwhile, cloud gaming, there's obvious hurdles. You're never going to be able to play certain types of games on it, and it should never become standard. That's my point. It should never become like the main thing. There should never be a streaming only console, because why would you? I mean, actually, yeah, there should never be a Project Q, because why does that exist? I've got a phone, but regardless of that.
Yeah, but even so you're saying there shouldn't be streaming only consoles. Like, no one's disagreeing with you, but Project Q isn't a standalone console. You need to get it in addition to a PS5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, Project Q is just stupid in general. Project Q is like terrible, and they're
I don't think streaming only consoles are going to be a thing. I don't think they're going to happen. Like, they tried that with the Google Stadia, right? They tried to do these like plug-in things that you get for your TV and stuff. It didn't work.
They're banking on how much PlayStation fans are into like a cult of PlayStation and worship the ground they walk on, and will buy games like Horizon Forbidden West for 70 quid and call it a good game when it's just Assassin's Creed with, you know, better graphics. You know,
Horizon Call of the Mountains was good on VR, but anyway.
I don't play VR either, because it makes me ill. Not because I hate VR, not because I think VR is gonna kill us all. It just makes me feel sick. So
this is the most fun I've had all week.
Just like remakes and phone games and whatever else Adam L is gonna associate me with hating for the next 3 months. Because
I mean, you have called yourself a certified remake hater, so
yeah,
you know, people are gonna draw conclusions from that.
I really like the remake of Resident Evil 4, which you can find out about by going to mirror.co.uk/gaming and looking for a Resident Evil 4 remake review, in which I gave it 5 out of 5 stars.
How are you going to segue this then, Jasmine, into the next
bit? You know, it's not a remake. Starfield actually kind of is, because it's the same game in the start. Do we have time for that? How long is
We
this
can talk
going
about
on
it
for?
quickly. Since I don't have a segue, but Matt has nicely set me up to move on to the next topic, which we'll be speaking about, is
They've just announced Sea of Stars for PlayStation Plus.
Starfield.
Yeah.
Starfield is coming at the beginning of next month. Preloads for Starfield have started today, I want to say, or will be starting next week.
I'm pretty sure it's today.
It's a pretty large range of
time. Oh yes, there we go. Yeah, it's going to be starting today, the 9th of August, and the game is a massive 125 gigabytes. So even though you might be thinking, okay, why have they given us almost a month to preload a game? It is a long time. The game is relatively big. You need time to rearrange your hard drives. We all know you need to figure out what you're going to delete before you install it. Yeah, cool. But is all of that going to be ruined with a day one patch, is what I want to know, right? Xbox, notorious for releasing their, I don't want to say a bad word here, but they're not very good games, and then letting you preload them and then releasing a day one patch to fix whatever they need to fix, whatever remaining bugs there are as the game comes out. And then, spoiler alert, it doesn't fix any of the bugs. Like, the bugs are all still there. So a prime example for this was Redfall, made by Bethesda as well, released earlier this year. Everyone knows how much I love bringing up Redfall, but it was genuinely one of the worst experienced games I've ever played in my life. Like, the worst experiences ever. It was so bad. It was terrible. Bugs everywhere. Me and Aaron streamed that over on Mirror Gaming YouTube channel. You can go and watch that after this podcast. It was terrible. It was really bad. Do you guys not think that between now, if they're releasing preloads now, the 9th of August and the 6th of September when the game is coming out, that they'll patch it again anyway? Surely they will. They're not showing this game off at Gamescom, first thing. Gamescom is in 2 weeks' time. They are not showing Starfield off despite it being a week and a bit before.
I want to say they are showing it off. I just don't think you're getting hands-on with it.
No hands-on for it, even though essentially if they're allowing people to preload it right now, it's done. It's finished. But you're not getting hands-on with it. Why?
I just don't...
They're not going to release another patch between now and release of Starfield? They're not going to release any other patches?
So
if you preload it now, you'll have to preload more stuff?
Not that I disagree with you, but I just don't think Starfield's a good game to play a demo of, because you got to get people moving in and out of that booth. And is 15 minutes of a game like Starfield really enough?
No,
that being said,
completely right.
It is a Bethesda Game Studios game. It is going to be a mess at launch. There's no chance it's not.
That's the thing.
That's their
no
gimmick
way.
at this point. You know,
there's no way a game that big doesn't have problems on release and needs like some serious patching, like off the rip. Like there's just no way, given how games are released these days. Like there's just no way that can happen in my view. So I don't think. I mean, yeah, I think it's going to get patched pretty quickly.
But this is the thing: if they're allowing users to preload it from today, surely they'll release multitudes of patches. I don't think they'll even just release one between now and launch day. I think they'll release multiple, 2 or 3 patches. There will be bugs that they will encounter between now, no matter how much QA they've done. Like you're saying, game that big, there's going to be stuff that they've missed. They will release patches between now and then, so why are they even opening preload this early? What's the benefit behind it?
I think it's just to build hype, like just to keep the hype alive.
The hype is there. They don't need more hype for this game. This game is their whole.
But
everything is on this game.
Keeping it at the forefront of your mind. It is keeping it at the forefront of your mind by being able to preload it. And
it's
also
already at the forefront of my mind because of how much Nathan talks about it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's a very isolated, like, sort of, experience. Not everyone has Nathan talking about it every day.
Okay, fair.
But I think it keeps it at the forefront of your mind, and it's a concern how big it is, and how if you're on PC you need to make sure you have a solid state hard drive just to be able to play it. Like it gives people time to sort that stuff out.
Tons of games are that big now, though. It's like really common for games to be that big now. 125 gigabytes isn't outlandishly large. It's not like it's half a terabyte.
I think it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty big for a lot of people.
Isn't Baldur's Gate 3 that big?
I'm not saying that other games aren't. But just because one game is also very big doesn't mean that this game is suddenly like tiny. It is a big game. A lot of people that will have concerns about like preloading and stuff like that. So by doing this, they're sort of trying to alleviate concerns and keeping it at the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, but they could have done it like a week before, or
and they won't.
I guess my question is,
they won't really talk about patches, like, and they'll just be done. And then people, that'll be just something people are like, oh, God, all right,
my question is,
another one. Like,
problem here? What is the problem?
I don't really think there is one.
There's a day one patch and there's a day one patch, but you've got 125 gigs out of the way. So what's?
Yeah, but it kind of like, I think the point here is that it's players are excited to play as soon as the game unlocks and then aren't able to. Is the point here? I mean, I'm not particularly against day one patches or in advance preloads. Okay, guys, I'm stirring the pot for the drama for the podcast, right? But I will say, if you've downloaded a game month in advance of when it's going to release, you're so excited for it, you pre-ordered the collector's edition, you got this watch on your wrist, right? This weird watch that doesn't do anything, right? You got the controller, right? Totally not me or anything. You've got it all. So excited to play this game on release. As soon as you go to launch it, it's like, oh, sorry, you need to update. And then suddenly you need to install this, like, even if it's a 5 gigabyte update, yeah, it's not that big compared to 125 gigs, but 5 gigabytes isn't going to download like that. You have to wait. So then where's all this excitement going?
It's minor. It's minor compared to
my other thing is, does that not just update before the game launches if they release the patch? Like, because usually day one patches are actually, to go behind the mask here and talk about game reviews, usually you get a day one, like the Street Fighter 6 day one patch came in like 2 days before launch. Like, so presumably that will download as well, and you will be able to play it. I don't really pre-order digital games because they're not going anywhere. What's the point?
Yeah, neither do I.
Like, from my few experience, I preloaded Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. That had a day one.
Oh, the
patch.
one game that you've pre-ordered and preloaded.
Yeah, a banger of a remake. I mean, that's how you do a remake.
Agree.
Here we go, all the way back to the start. Tony Hawk's 1+2 remake is a good game. There we go.
Okay.
But I just booted that up. There was the day one patch, and I booted that up at midnight. So, not to poo-poo on this entire segment, but
what's the problem here? What is the
Yeah,
issue?
no, I think I agree. I think I completely agree. I like you say, you've got 125 gigabytes out of the way. If you've got a 5 gig patch, or even a 10 gig patch, even a 25 gig patch, like, it's still significantly less than if you.
In my personal opinion, I would prefer there be a day one patch, and then I can play the game when it's not buggy, and
it'll still be buggy. Don't worry.
Experience it for what it for, you know.
Buggy.
Okay, maybe it will still be buggy, but I'd rather play it with a day one patch and have some of whatever issues that they fixed than play it with those problems, right? But guys, like, I need to. If we all just agree on something, then it's gonna not be very entertaining, is it? Come on.
We could just all agree and then go and have dinner, like.
Okay, since Matt clearly wants to get out of here, Scott's updated his title to Certified Cloud /Mobile/VR /Remake.
Hater is that
hater? Okay,
we don't have long enough.
Here we go. If we do this,
there we go.
Right?
That's what I'm on about.
Certified Cloud /Mobile/VR /Remake hater. Scott, I can't believe this. But on that note, I think we'll wrap up there. There's not much more to talk about with Starfield Day 1 patches. I think we're all in the same boat here. Worm stream when? On that note, we'll be streaming again this Friday. So be sure to be there for that. It will be our Friday multiplayer stream that we do every single week, and if that's not really your forte, that's fine. Join us again next week, Wednesday 4 p.m. BST, for another episode of the Mirror Gaming Walkthrough. I've been your host Jasmine, Project Q hater, and I've been joined today with Matt, head of arguments, and Scott, it's going to be Worms. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will cool, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.